Hello and welcome. This is News Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, terrorists killed 10 in Kaduna rampage, 12 task force members in Niger. Rwanda reopens Uganda border after 3-year closure. And African Union suspends Burkina Faso after coup. Men, thanks for joining us. Here are the stories making headlines at this hour. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. 10 persons have been reportedly killed by bandits in an attack on Atakmawai village, Zamandabo ward, in Zagon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State, with several houses burnt. The attack was said to have occurred in the early hours of Sunday. A resident of the community who pleaded anonymity for fear of being attacked said the bandits came around 3 a.m. when the people were asleep. They were shooting sporadically as they went from house to house, setting houses ablaze. We are yet to ascertain the exact number of people killed because many people ran to the bushes, but it is confirmed that 10 people were burned to death in their homes. In another development in Niger State, not less than 12 members of the Special Task Force deployed to repel insurgents in Galadima Kogo town in the Shiroro local government area were killed last Saturday when the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, invaded the village. According to reports from the area, which were confirmed by co-convener of the concerned Shiroro youth, Yusuf Abubakar Koki, several villagers were either seriously injured or killed by the rampaging ISWAP members, while herds of cattle earlier recovered from rustlers were again rustled by the invaders. And moving on, 2 people narrowly escaped death on Sunday afternoon at the Ovia River Bridge access of the Benin-Lagos Road in Edo State after a truck fully loaded with production materials lost control and veered off the road. iBrand senior reporter Igboje Korea, who was at the scene of the incident, reports that the traffic situation caused by the incident kept motorists traveling to and fro Lagos State on the road for several hours. Igboje also reported that both occupants of the truck were later found in a nearby bush after several search by men of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, and were rushed to the hospital. At the time of this report, the road, which is the busiest access road connecting the west to the south-south, was completely blocked. And in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde last Wednesday received the report of the Oyo State Judicial Panel of Inquiry into police brutality and other related matters that was set up by the state in the aftermath of the ENDSARS protests that rocked the country in 2020. The governor, who received the report from the chairman of the panel, retired Justice Badejoko Adeniji, assured that the panel's effort will not be in vain and that the government will soon implement some of the recommendations. The governor commended the Justice Adeniji-led panel for paying the first semester fee, accommodation, feeding, and clothing needs of a 23-year-old man who was brutalized by the SARS and blinded, noting that the state government will give automatic scholarship to the young man.
I haven't gone through the report itself, but police were also victims. Some policemen were killed. The restitution has to go to them. They have families that the expectation have been cut short.
The federal government directed that all state governments should set up a judicial panel of inquiry to look into petitions submitted by alleged victims of police brutality, victimization, and unlawful killings in the various states. We thank Your Excellency for inviting us to be part of the government's initiative to give support to victims of police brutality, victimization, violation of human rights, and unlawful killings in Oyo State.
The Adamawa State Primary Healthcare Development Agency has reiterated its effort towards partnering with critical sectors to ensure better healthcare service delivery to the people of the state. The executive chairman at Adamawa State Primary Healthcare Development Agency revealed this when he received Swiss Demnac project in charge of sour water solution project to synergize with the agency to provide potable water. In 2021, over 45 persons lost their lives to cholera outbreak in the state as a result of unhygienic water consumption.
I'll show you that we do everything possible to use all our strategic position that we have, particularly in this sector. But I also want to let you know that in the wash sector, there are different stakeholders there.
Given this opening, Primary Healthcare Development Agency, with our able leader, the executive chairman, who is always key and updoing in ensuring that whatever program that is brought to the agency for the betterment of people of Adamawa State, he is always keen and concerned.
We are so happy in this part of the region, northeastern Nigeria, Adamawa State to be specific. We've suffered challenges in terms of waterborne diseases that led to outbreak of diseases such as cholera and other preventable diseases. At the moment, this collaboration today with Adamawa State Primary Healthcare by Swiss Denmark making available sour water solution.
And Governor Makinde of Oyo State has urged people in power to always do it right, adding that political differences should not affect their responsibilities and agreement. Governor Makinde gave the advice while Coalition for Good Governance under the aegis of African Democratic Party, ADC, Oyo State Chapter, paid a thank-you visit to him at the Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. Makinde further pledged to dedicate the remaining 15 months of the current administration to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of Oyo State. Earlier speaking, the leader of ADC in Oyo State, Senator Monsurat Sumono, noted that the party organized a rally to show gratitude to Governor Makinde for fulfilling the agreement her party had with PDP in 2019.
We've come in here to appreciate the governor because he has kept his promises. I mean, to we in ADC, I think we have to be sincere with the people, to the governor, and to God Almighty, because you could see the number of our people that have been accommodated in this present government. I mean, we have commissioners, we have SAs, we have chairman, secretaries to local government. Even our people, our candidates, they actually contested under the banner of ADC, isn't it? And their certificate of returns clearly stated ADC. So we want to show people to say that this is a governor that have actually met to his promise, and we just have to come around to say thank you.
And still in Oyo State, Governor Makinde was recently joined by his Adamawa State counterpart, Governor Amadu Fintiri, to commission the dualized 9.7 kilometers Okeogun, Polishaki Township and Ilesha Ibaruba Road. Governor Fintiri, who was the special guest of honor at the event, commended Makinde for delivering such a massive road project, among many others, despite economic challenges in the country. Governor Makinde, while speaking at the official commissioning ceremony, maintained that the Shaki Township Road project will enhance the socio-economic development of the state and play a major role in engineering a modern Oyo State.
When we say we're engineering a modern Oyo State, this is exactly what we mean. We mean we are designing and building a modern Oyo State. The foundation of that design is a proper road network. This is why we will not ignore any viable road projects started by our predecessors.
The urban renewal campaign which they have initiated is manifest in the provision of multiple road infrastructure, construction of bus terminal in Ibadan, stadium upgrade, the Light Up Oyo project, and the construction of housing units are classical examples worthy of commendation.
And Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Sunday sent Senator Fatai Buhari, Abdulrasheed Aziz, and other representatives to grace the third-day special prayer session of late barrister Chief Angela Nwaka Folarin. The deceased wife of Senator Teslim Folarin, Oyo Central, passed away in London on January 28 at the age of 47. The third-day special prayer session held at Folarin House, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan, was attended by political gladiators across parties, religious leaders, traditional leaders, family friends, and other well-wishers.
I saw a lot of things in that, and very unassuming and highly intelligent. So, for me and for APC family, we have lost a pillar to one of our leaders.
On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Makinde, want to condole with the family of the deceased, most especially the distinguished Senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Teslim Folarin, for this loss. It's a sad experience, and we pray Allah to console him.
She stood beside the senator like a rock, and her children, the two boys, she was all to them. She would even escort them to school every time, and I used to question, why are you following them? But she said, look, it's the least I could do. She was a very bubbly person, very vital, full of life. She was friends with everybody.
The Otaro of Auchi Sacred Kingdom, Alhaji Aliru H. Momo Ikelebe III, has conferred the title of the Oduma of Auchi Kingdom on the Minister for State, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba. Igboje Korea reports that the event, which took place at the Otaro's Palace, was attended by the Vice President of the country, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and guests from within and outside the country.
Palace of the Otaro of Auchi Kingdom, Alhaji Aliru H. Momo Ikelebe III, was filled with visitors from far and near, including the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Deputy Governor Edo State, Comrade Philip Shaibu, ministers led by Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, members of the National Assembly, ambassadors from several nations across the world, traditional rulers, amongst others. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, while congratulating the Minister for State, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, for the feat achieved, said Auchi Kingdom, where he did his National Youth Service several years ago, is critically a representation of Nigeria with different nationalities and ethnic groups given equal opportunities and representation. Edo State Governor Mr. Godwin Obaseki, represented by his deputy Comrade Philip Shaibu, in the governor's message said the Oduma of Auchi Kingdom and Minister for State, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, is a gentleman that is well deserving of such an honor.
I want to, on behalf of my boss, my senior brother, the executive governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, once again, welcome our Vice President with our son, our brother, and our friend. I also want to thank God Almighty for today.
The event later shifted to a reception where guests were treated to lavish reception of both Africa and intercontinental dishes and cuisine. Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, in a goodwill message, said Prince Clem Agba is not just a colleague, but now a brother and friend. Some guests at the event also congratulated the celebrant. The Oduma of Auchi Kingdom and Minister of State, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, and wife thanked God for the honor.
One just needs to remain consistent
IoT branch of the same
to do that
association.
which is right.
We are here to facilitate
To remember that one has to do service to humanity.
Distinguished himself, and we are very proud
there are a
of
lot
him.
of vulnerable
And that
people
is why we
out
are
there
here to
consider
present
their
this
interests
congratulatory
first
message to him.
and to
We
work
pray
for
that
them.
God will put more
And I
appointments on
think
his
that
way
if we follow
so
that
that he will
path,
continue to
we will continue to grow.
I'm happy and very thankful to God for the recognition given to my husband today for the conferment of the title of the Oduma of Auchi Kingdom to my husband by the Otare Council of the Auchi Kingdom. I thank God for this recognition because many times you see people who work so hard, but their work is not recognized. But today, it has been brought into the forefront, and the world has come to know about it. And I pray that God will continue to give him the strength to do more for the people of Edo State and for the Nigerians.
I, Boji Warrior, reporting for iBrandTV News.
And still to come, Britain warns Russia of sanctions on oligarchs if Ukraine is invaded. Details and more news update after this commercial break. Please stay with us. And on the African scene, Rwanda on Monday reopened its land border with Uganda after a 3-year closure, signaling a thaw in relations between the two East African neighbors. The frontier had been closed in February 2019 as political tensions between Kigali and Kampala spiraled, leading to the near collapse of two-way trade. Rwanda announced its decision to reopen the border last week as a step towards repairing ties which had been soured by various rival accusations of espionage and abductions as well as meddling. Museveni and Kagame were close allies in the 1980s and 1990s during struggle for power in their respective countries, but relations turned deeply hostile. Rwanda shut the frontier after accusing Uganda of abducting its citizens and supporting rebels seeking to topple Kagame. Uganda in turn accused Rwanda of spying as well as killing 2 men during an incursion into Uganda territory in 2019, a claim Kigali denied. Before the closure, Ugandan exports to Rwanda, predominantly cement and food, totaled more than $211 million in 2018, according to World Bank figures, while Rwanda exported $13 million worth of goods to Uganda. And the African Union said on Monday it had suspended Burkina Faso in response to the January 24 coup that ousted President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore. The bloc's 15-member Peace and Security Council said on Twitter it had voted to suspend the participation of Burkina Faso in all AU activities until the effective restoration of constitutional order in the country. The West African bloc, ECOWAS, suspended Burkina Faso on Friday and sent a delegation to meet with the ruling junta Saturday. The coup is the latest bout of turmoil to strike Burkina Faso in a landlocked state that has suffered chronic instability since gaining independence from France in 1960. A jihadist insurgency that spread over Mali's border has killed more than 2,000 people and forced 1.5 million to flee their homes since 2015. Diplomats say the spate of coups is expected to be a major point of discussion at the AU summit in Addis Ababa this weekend. And moving on to the foreign scene, Britain urged Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday to step back from the brink over Ukraine, warning that any incursion would trigger sanctions against companies and people with close links to the Kremlin. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the threat of such measures echoing moves outlined by a senior U.S. official following a Russian troop buildup near Ukraine would amount to an attack on Russian businesses. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called the British warning very disturbing and said such statement undermined Britain's investment attractiveness and would backfire by hurting British companies. Since the fall of the Soviet Union in 1999, London has become the preeminent global center for a vast outflow of money from the former Soviet republics. Opponents have repeatedly called on the West to get tough on Russian money, though oligarchs and Russian officials continue to flaunt their wealth at Europe's most luxurious destinations. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is due to travel to Ukraine and will also speak to Putin by telephone. And the United Arab Emirates said on Monday it intercepted a ballistic missile fired by Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi movement as the UAE hosted Israeli President Isaac Herzog on his first visit to the Gulf business and tourism hub. In the third such attack on the U.S.-allied Gulf state in the last 2 weeks, the Houthis' military spokesman said they fired Zulfikar missiles at Abu Dhabi and drones at Dubai. He reiterated a warning to residents and firms to stay away from vital headquarters and facilities in the UAE, which prides itself as a safe business haven and global tourism destination. The United States condemned the assault, which followed the January 17 strike on a fuel depot in Abu Dhabi that killed 3 people in an escalation of the Yemen war between the Houthis and a Saudi-led coalition, which includes the UAE. A senior Emirati official described the attacks as useless provocations. The assaults have led to rare security jitters among some residents in a country where expatriates are a majority but have had no visible impact on daily life, with restaurants and beaches packed during the peak mild winter season. UAE market sentiment weakened following Houthi missiles launched, but economic analysts say the attacks, mostly thwarted, have not dampened business or investor confidence yet. The UAE said the missile was intercepted at 20 minutes past midnight and its debris fell on an uninhabited area. Up next is business news. And in business, following the federal government's postponed subsidy removal and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC's request of 3 trillion naira from the federal government to fund fuel subsidy in 2022, an analyst has stated that selfish interest and the lack of political will has been the major deterrent to removing fuel subsidy in Nigeria. Public affairs analyst Akin Fatuke stated this on Business Breakfast earlier in the day, noting that the best time to remove fuel subsidy was 20 years ago.
The right time was about 20 years ago. Now you get what I'm trying to tell you here. The right time was over 20 years ago, but we refused. We kept on dancing in the sun. We kept on doing paloko and deceiving ourselves because that is the only thing that will help us to win elections, to go in back there and going to plunder the country amiss, not to be rigorous in what we needed to do. In 2012, when Jonathan wanted to develop a political will to do this, remember Ojota? Now, don't get me wrong. What is in deficit is the fact that you say to me that you have a good intention and this is what you are going to do. But I don't see in your character, I don't see in the way and manner you do. And so Nigerians are now then say, well, if we all cannot put all our hands on deck to plan for our future and you are simply chopping your wood, let's simply chop the whole thing and chop it to the ground.
The Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, has said the likelihood of interference between the aviation industry and 5G network frequency is very low. According to the association, there is no greater risk of interference with 5G networks than there is with any of the existing transmissions taking place in the frequencies adjacent to those used by radio altimeters. It said the guard band that exists between the spectrum frequencies allocated by the NCC for 5G services and those allocated to the aviation industry remains in the region of 400 megahertz, in line with the guidelines instituted by the National Frequency Management Council, the government agency responsible for sectorial allocation of spectrum and NCC. Alton said it understood the concerns industry stakeholders and customers had been expressing in relation to the ongoing debate in the United States of America over the risk of interference between 5G networks and aviation equipment. It noted that mobile networks, just like radio, TV, and other broadcast services, operate using bands of spectrum frequency ranges that are allocated by the government to allow the transmission of different services. And the Senate has invited the heads of 62 revenue agencies over the low remittances and the need to boost government revenue. This is according to an advertorial published by the Senate Committee on Finance. Some of the agencies include the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Nigerian Port Authority, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigeria Customs Service, Standards Organization of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. The Nigerian Port Authority, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, National Automotive Design and Development Council, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Communications Commission are expected to be present at the meeting. Also expected at the meeting are heads of tertiary institutions. A National Bureau of Statistics report shows that intra-city transport fares in Nigeria have increased by 283% on the average amid the rising cost of fuel subsidy to the federal government. The average cost of bus transportation within Nigerian cities rose from 122 naira 83 kobo in January 2017 to 470 naira 83 kobo in December 2021, according to reports. This means that the cost of intracity bus transportation has risen by 283% or 384 naira in 4 years. This is according to an analysis of data from the Transport Fare Watch reports of the National Bureau of Statistics. In 2017, Abuja had the highest intracity bus transport cost at 290 naira 55 kobo, while Borno had the lowest at 50 naira. In 2021, Zamfara had the highest intracity bus transport cost at 700 naira 22 kobo, while Abia had the lowest at 294 naira 44 kobo. The data shows that the lowest cost in 2021 is 2.4 times higher than the average cost in 2017. Up next is the entertainment news.
Hello, this is Entertainment News. I am Michelle Abano. An unnamed woman has filed a lawsuit that accuses musician Chris Brown of drugging and raping her on a Florida yacht in December 2020 and seeks $20 million in damages from the award-winning Grammy singer. The civil lawsuit, filed on Thursday by a musician and choreographer identified as Jane Doe, said she was invited by Brown to meet him at Star Island, Florida, home of rapper Sean Combs. When she arrived, she boarded the yacht and accepted Brown's offer of a drink as it discussed her career, the filing said. After a second drink, the woman suddenly began to feel disorientated and physically unstable, according to the lawsuit. She said Brown dragged her to a bedroom, removed her bikini bottoms, and took advantage of her without her consent, the lawsuit said. The woman has experienced dramatic mood swings, loss of appetite, panic attacks, and has engaged in self-harm, said the lawsuit, which was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. She is seeking a jury trial and $20 million in damages. Moving on, Kanye West may have initially struggled with his divorce from Kim Kardashian and her new romance with Saturday Night Live actor Pete Davidson, according to a source close to Ye. The notion he's been telling people Davidson has AIDS is uncalled for. The rumor started to gain traction last week after TMZ corroborated academics claim Kanye West has been telling everybody within earshot Davidson has AIDS. The story alleged some of Kanye and Davidson's mutual friends are confused and disturbed by the childish behavior. Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from Kanye West in February 2021, but Kanye was, or possibly still is, having a difficult time moving on. Last month, he made a public plea for Kardashian's return during the Free Larry Hoover's concert in Los Angeles. But Kardashian has been romantically linked to Davidson since she hosted the long-running comedy sketch show in October 2021. Meanwhile, Kanye has started dating Uncut Gems actress Julia Fox. The two have been gallivanting across the globe in matching denim, attending parties with Pusha T, and displaying plenty of PDA. And that's it on Entertainment News. I am Michelle Abanu.
Well, that's it on News Now. Please follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at iBrandTV. My name is Omobolanle Adeshui. Men, thanks for watching. Bye for now.